It's the UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, ThankMeLater, and you're stupid to win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way, and the door hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping. Over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin in UPX.
Landers, to another episode of the Upland Property Experts. I am your host, Too Stupid to Win, and as always, I'm joined by ThankMeLater. How are we doing this evening, brother?
What up? I'm doing good.
So for all our podcast listeners, during the intro, the YouTube live streamers don't hear it because the mics are muted, but I forget to mute my mic for the podcast recording, and I forgot to plug in my light. So I'm like, I dropped a Franklin bomb, and then I was trying to fumble. Yeah, I don't know if it came through, but I dropped a Franklin bomb, and then I was trying to plug in my light and get that turned on before the theme song cut off, and I had to pull down. It was a hot mess. So the podcast people got a little special entertainment there on the intro.
Man, we're doing so good too. I don't think we've had an explicit episode in a while.
We have not, and you've done very well. So very impressive. No Franklin bombs have been dropped. I did reach out to Upland. Hopefully that they can accommodate us for our 2-year anniversary coming up with some of our Block Explorer ID.
Do you live on the train tracks? What is happening over there?
Oh, hey. Yeah, I do. And I forgot to shut the window too. It's kind of hot today.
We've been recording for 2 years. I've never heard train go by.
Yeah, I got the window open. I meant to close that before we started recording too.
Oh, look at this.
What?
Listen to your llama. Drink your water. Hold the drama.
Look, there you go.
Look, and then it tells you like throughout the day, like, yeah, my girl got it, and then do it again.
Do it again, man. You'll stay up all night.
I know. That's what she wants. So.
It's Too Stupid to Win, accompanied by strawberry shortcake. Thanks, TM.
No, I think he was saying because the pre-show, my red hair. It looked like I had red hair.
Yeah, today's been
because the like green screen, it like dyed my hair red. So there you go.
We do have a pretty jam-packed show for you. We have the secondary market update to talk about. We are still trying to get our guest worked out. We have the one and only JunJun coming on, the leader in treasure hunts. So excited to have him on. Hopefully he can get the issues resolved and join us here a little bit later. And let's see here. We did have another auction go off. So we had another auction winner.
That racetrack?
Yeah.
That looks super cool. And I'm a little bummed. How much did it go for? Well, anyway, I guess we'll get to it.
Yeah, it went. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I didn't get a chance to get a picture. I mean, this week's been absolutely crazy with kid activities and a side project we're working on and going out of town for the weekend, preparing for that. So it just has not gone well for the week.
Wait, you're going out of town this weekend?
Yeah, headed up to Detroit. So
did I know that?
Yeah, future brother-in-law's bachelor party.
The bachelor party.
I
know that his wedding has very unfortunate timing for you this week. So
absolutely. Still, they won't move the wedding, and I'm still trying to work that out.
They won't move the wedding for you? How dare them? I can't believe it.
I even tried to get them to bring it to Vegas. I'm like, let's just do it in Vegas. I got plenty of time to register in the state of Nevada. We can do it right there in Vegas. I mean, we could even do it on the podcast live.
Get married on that would be an Upland first.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had a lot of firsts on this podcast, and but yeah, that would be the first.
Yeah.
Now, so we'll jump right into the secondary market. Tuesday, when I sent out the tweet about the city floors, the interesting thing was it looked kind of like this. Manhattan wasn't so far down as it is right now. It was only down like I think like 2% or so, 2 or 3%. So
Yeah.
it dropped a little further since the Tuesday tweet. And San Francisco was a little higher too. It was just 1% or 2 down also. But the US dollar floor was in red and it continued to drop in red. San Francisco was overtaken. San Francisco was overtaken by Santa Clara on the UPX floor this week and the US dollar floor.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, all of the, crypto fanboys who, for the past 2 years that I've been, why isn't UPX tied to the market? We want to trade. We want to trade. Now they're like, I see a lot of people changing their tune. Wow, well, I mean, I guess it was good. Upland's not tied to the market because the market's shitting itself. And it's like, yeah. And I mean, honestly, we're still seeing that fear of the market ripple into the USD floor, because I think that this is still a lot of the crypto people who are, in my opinion, I think it's a combination of things, but there's an amount of like short-sighted of like, hey, I'm losing money everywhere else. I just want to make sure I get my money out of here, whatever, which is fine. And then there's obviously people who are recycling their funds. We've talked about that as a common practice where you'll use your UPX earnings to buy floor and then sell for USD. But again, I say, the UPX is strong. The Upland economy is strong compared to the rest of the crypto market. Other games like Decentraland and Axie and all of them that have their main currencies tied to the market, they're all plummeting right now. So,
yeah, it was kind of interesting. You started posting in some of the Facebook groups that you're on about not having UPX tied to a token. The side project that we're working on and the consulting that we've been doing, we've been talking to people about you don't want your token, you don't want it staked to the market, depending on what you want to do. A lot of projects try to do that. And then I was on the Power Hour with X1 last week, and I brought that up that we don't want UPX tied to a market. And then there were a couple other people later in the week that also on their YouTube channels also agreed with us and also said, that's not a good thing overall. And then they've really come out of the woodwork now talking about Mana's down, and then Sandbox and Decentraland, both their tokens are down really bad. So that just killed their floor. You might have bought a property for X amount of dollars and now it's like worth a quarter of it right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you have to contend with in-game economy and the overall crypto economy. I mean, it's too volatile, and in downswings, you lose too much momentum of your game. There's too much value lost from long-time players and holders. I know that you put this here as a joke, TM, but gamers by the crowd. I mean, your words, not necessarily mine.
He's just buttering you up for that Vegas piggyback ride.
Oh yeah, for Miles blockchain. Yeah, you be getting that piggyback ride. But on the topic of Vegas, real quick, Boulder asked for the Vegas, are they going to sell out? I haven't seen anything about sellout. The early bird sold out super quick, but I don't think I don't think that there's a cap. They would have announced that for sure.
Yeah, and I got my ticket, wishful thinking, so still working
Did
through
you get
that.
the early bird one?
No, I did not, because at that point in time, I'm like, do I buy? I should have just. I'm like, I can't even get the NFT if I buy it and I'm not there, and I should have bought it just in case I make miracles happen.
Yeah, well, and I assume we'll cover it at some point in the show about our nomination. I was going to say you do get reimbursed for it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's allowed to be public yet.
It is. I know.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. I confirmed it with Shiva. It's in that link I sent.
Oh, and for as much people have been getting ripped off nowadays in the NFT world, I didn't click the link you sent me.
Didn't click the link. Yeah. So, and you know what? Maybe I'll post the link. I'll post the link for our listeners as well. But yeah, so I won't talk about that yet. But yes, it's official. It is announced. And yeah, part of your package with that is you get free ticket.
Yeah. Nice. Did you send that to me in a text?
There you go. Can I send it to you in a text?
The link. Did you?
No, it's in private chat. It's in the. I
Okay.
can't with you anymore.
No, I told you it's been a hell of a week.
Jeez. Don't worry. When we get to it, I can help cover it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's where you saw the block explorers. Imagine that.
Yeah. So it's really cool. You get to see. If you haven't seen it, go check out the link I just posted about the upcoming Vegas event. The block explorers, pretty cool. Apparently, everybody who's there, which I had heard like people saying this, and I didn't understand. But apparently, everyone who's there is going to get a free property of the new city, which is insane.
Yes, I'm.
Like, all in-person attendees will be entered into a giveaway and are guaranteed to win a free property in the new city. Like, what? Yes, please. Free property? I'm there.
Yeah. So if I do make it, I would probably have to catch a 1:00 flight out to head back.
Oh boy.
Yeah. What did I do? Oh, okay. I was looking for something else, and then I got distracted by the shiny squirrel that you sent me on there. So one of the replies on Twitter on Tuesday, I talked about we expected the U.S. floor, the dollar to drop because just the stock market and the crypto market, everything's dropped. So weren't surprised to see all the red there. And one of the questions was asked that, so you don't think UPX floors get affected by Bitcoin and the stock market? The UPX floors do their own thing until there's something affecting UPX in the economy. My initial reply at the time was, I'm not really sure. This is the first time we've seen the stock market and the crypto market tank at the same time like this since we've been tracking the secondary floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do think UPX is protected a little bit in the sense of people aren't selling for UPX to make back their money. People are selling for UPX to get UPX, right? They're getting it to build their wealth, to build their net, to save up for the next city, to save up for cars, to rent Spark, etc. So I think UPX, the UPX floor price is more based on the in-game mechanics, feature releases, city releases, etc. I think the U.S. dollar, the floor, which again our numbers are showing, are much more tied to the real life market, at least right now, because it is, I think a lot of the quote unquote investors versus gamers, they are, wanting to make sure that they don't lose too much in this market, and they're scared, and so they're selling off honestly well below what it's worth. I think as the game evolves and we get a more solid gamer player base and less just pure investor player base, I think we'll see that even out. I mean, there's plenty of games where you can, kind of fiat out that aren't blockchain related, and you never see those really impacted that much by stock market or really crypto anything, because again, it's really based on the game. So it's less about the market, which is how it should be. If you want to play the crypto market, go buy cryptocurrency. Like, the game should be independent of the market. Like, that's the whole idea, is that Dirk and Idan and the team, they want to create an economy that is independent of the external world. They want to have the value proposition be self-contained.
Right. Let's see here. And then moving on to but here's the good sign though. The bottom 5 city floors, you don't see the drastic change and the drastic drop in the US dollar floor price. you do see the,
So
it's
that means
actually
that you
pretty
can't go
stable.
much lower than that, right? Like,
You can't. You can't.
like at some point you have to go. There is a bottom where things are just going to get scooped up. I was buying Detroit UpX floor today. It's more of a pain, honestly. And it was about 4,000 is where I was buying at, just for burners. So
Yeah. So you're buying the Detroit burners now. You've moved on from the Fresno burners to the Detroit burners.
well, the thing is, the Fresno burners, I was using them because I was like, oh, this is, I paid 1,000 UpX for this whenever long ago, whatever. I was using them as burners, and I was like, wait a second, the Fresno floor is significantly higher than the Detroit floor. So by using my Fresno burners as burners, I was losing like 9 to 10,000 UpX per burner, which is crazy. And I want to just take a second and reiterate: there's a reason they're called burners and not lenders. Listen to me carefully. If you offer somebody a burner property, that means you are burning it. You are giving it to them. It is not a catch and release program. That's their property. If you need more money on top of your deal to cover the cost of the burner, then negotiate that up front. But yeah, I'm not giving you back your burner. It's not happening.
But what if it's one of 3 properties that they have?
Too damn bad. You should have thought about that beforehand. Because I'm buying I guess if you're buying, no, because if you're buying my property, but if I'm buying your property, again, you're getting a bunch of UpX. Go buy another burner. Like they're 4,000 UpX. There's no chance I'm doing a deal with you for less than 60 or 70,000 UpX. You can go buy another burner. And again, I'm happy if you go, well, hey, I need an extra 4,000 UpX to cover the cost of the property. Fine. Like, negotiate that in the deal. But you can't keep taking it back. And honestly, I've only becoming more of a stickler about it because I'm really trying to hit that CE level before Vegas. And trying to have people claw back burners is killing me.
Yeah. All righty. Anything else on the markets before we move on to the sold outs?
No, I do see our special guest has joined us, by the way. So I don't know where you want to put that into, this segment. But
yep, I got them lined up right after this segment right here.
Cool.
So, you do have Los Angeles, Queens, Nashville, Detroit, and Kansas City as the cities that still have properties. Still slow and steady as they're moving up percentage-wise. Los Angeles at 64, Queens at 68, Nashville at 70, Detroit and Kansas City at 76. Detroit, those burners are being bought up quickly to get the inventory until the next tier 3 city comes out and you can pick up more cheap burners. I think that's why that's minting as quick as that is.
Yeah, because I don't even know what I'm like. I know that they're all FSAs that I'm buying at 3,000 or 4,000 or like that 4,000 range. And when you go in, I can see on Minted. I didn't even check next to it. I'm sure that there are 1,000 UpX or whatever right next to it. So if you're an FSA player, play that Detroit floor game, because if you can go mint, buy 2, 1,000 UpX properties or whatever the floor is, and flip it for the floor of 4,000 UpX. Do that, a couple times a week, and you'll eventually get 100,000 UpX. Takes a little bit of time, but you can get there.
Well, for as much as you wish that there were 1,000, it's 2,000 right now. The floor's past the $1,000 or 1,000 UpX properties.
The unminted is 2,000.
Yep, 2132. Still nice and cheap.
I mean, that's still a 2x. That's a guaranteed 2x. Holy cow! If I could guarantee 2x on all of my property buys, I'd be a happy duck.
Yeah. So good for the FSA buyers or the people that you can get to buy FSA. All right. So let's see here. How do I want to do this one? Yeah, I'll do this for the introduction. All right. So We do have a special guest. We've been promoting this for a couple weeks. We have JunJun with us. He is the overall king of treasure hunting. Over almost 4,000 treasures. Can you believe that?
That's impressive. Now I wonder if that's like a true, because like I feel like there's been like some resets and stuff. Do you feel like that's a true? Is that from like the actual standings, or did somebody like go through and pull that off the chain?
That's from UPX Land.
Okay, so it's probably from the chain then.
Yeah, okay. That's from UPX Land. So that the guy, he's an OG player like us. He was around in the early days of 2020, before treasure hunting was even treasure hunting, and he came out and just started to crush it. And he's gone through every iteration of changes they've done to the treasure hunting. So I'm very excited to have him on and get his Upland story. And if we're nice enough to him, he might share some of his tips and tricks for treasure hunting, for as much as everybody loves to do that.
Well, don't you just turn your bot on? Isn't that how you do it?
we will discuss.
You bring him in. He's like sitting in. Thank you, my God.
Like I can't respond to that, but
I know. I was like, I'm baiting him here, and you're not even letting him respond.
And you have control to bring him on too. It's just not.
I did, but I don't want to be rude and like. Anyway.
JunJun, welcome to the Upland Property Experts podcast. So great to have you on, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I know it's been a long time. We've been, like you said, we're OGs to the game, and so it's been a long time coming. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to jump on with you guys and chat it up. I know we've been planning to do this for a while, so I'm glad that we finally found some time.
3,800 treasures.
Yeah,
that's impressive, man.
Well, I remember you guys know in the beginning there was really no cap, right? You can there was almost a string of maybe almost 20 treasures where I found, and it was just available for anyone to grab it, and we were there. RT, my brother was also we were kind of like the only ones doing it, and so so my numbers are pretty. I guess it's it's a little padded because of that the first.
You think so?
Well, maybe not that much, but
it's just during one Sparks week.
Yeah,
Dizzy's a hater. Dizzy's the ultra treasure hunt hater, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, treasure hunting is not for everybody, but I'm glad that they had that because it adds another dynamic to the game. So you're not just buying properties, but at least it gives some kind of utility to each of your properties because you can save a cent at least, because there was I remember when the limit was maybe like 8 cents that you can have, and so you were just. You want to participate, but if you don't have that many properties, you're spending 5 to 6 cents just to try to get one. And if you don't get it, then you're pretty much just tough luck until the next day or when they do the reset. So so it totally helped when I was having a bunch of properties in San Francisco. It helps that you can save all the cents when you're trying to hunt down a treasure. So.
And then they hit the 3-hour cooldown because you just had people that would dominate. You, Green Turtle. Your brother, and so do you set an alarm now? Because it still seems like clockwork. You're just 3 hours, bam, there's JunJun.
Yeah, no bots here. I play on my phone. I do just every time I find something, I set my alarm for 3 hours and then get back to work or just kind of regular things. I want to hit the alarm and then try to keep my eye on it until the next treasure hunt, and then just try to participate as soon as possible, and then hopefully I find it. If not, then I kind of just, when I'm available.
Now, you remember in treasure hunting when the tails were able to detect it for like your whole tail could detect it? How many treasures did you hit that way with just your tail?
Yeah, so I remember that. That was actually, I was not very fortunate when it came to when they had the tail kind of allowing it to still grab treasures. So that, I think that kind of lended itself to people who are playing on the computer, because then you can kind of send to your own property very quickly. Mm-hmm. And then you could kind of so you're pretty much just hopping to your property to property. And then if you're right before the treasure hunt even starts, right? Because then the tail is active for about 20 minutes. So if you have a 5-minute heads up or notification that a treasure is coming. So then now you just hit as many of your properties as possible once you get that notification. And then if it pops up or if it ends up being at a property near one of those, you've got it covered, right? Because the tail is active for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So people are just like spamming all their properties, and then so for me, I could only hit maybe 5 to 10 properties if I was really, if I was just dedicated to, scrolling in or zooming in and out to a property, sending there, waiting for it to send, and then getting, and then trying to scroll to another property. So no, I actually, when that happened, I didn't actually find a bunch of treasures that way during that tail activity. So.
Yeah, no. So, and just so everyone knows, you can still get treasures from your trail. It's the broken trail. So when you jump from one property to another, that's considered your trail is broken, and you can no longer receive treasures from there. Because I was actually surprised. I been doing some stuff, so I've had the game open in my browser, and I stumbled across a thing in Queens, which is pretty cool. Rucker Park. What is Rucker Park, and why does TM want it?
Yeah, it's it's that famed caged basketball court in New York that all the old school players would go. Kobe was there a couple of times, and so it's a pretty famed basketball court.
Oh, nice.
And I've had lots of messages about it too. I only have maybe about 2 or 3 like major properties in New York. In Manhattan, and that was one of them. And it took a while for me just to even drift there. You know how it's always fun when they open up a new city and you're kind of just like having that trail where everyone's kind of chasing each other to try to get to a property that they want. That one took some time to get to, but I was very fortunate to get it. So we'll have to chat maybe on the side if I'm willing to give it up. I'm not quite sure it's on the market at the moment, but we'll see. But that's Rucker Park.
What I do like though is when people ask, "Hey, I'm interested in it. How much do you want from it?" You're like, my price is kind of high," and then you tell them the price. They're like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "It wasn't for sale. Don't tell me I'm crazy."
Yeah, you're fortunate that I'm even giving you a price, right? So at least I'm entertaining your offer.
Right.
I could just say no and not give you a number. So, but yeah, I'll have to think about it and see, because it is pretty it is a pretty landmark. Nice property to have. And so I was planning to, once they have games and other kind of activities that you can have in your properties, to set up some kind of basketball kind of game to be active there. But we'll see if that's the route that Upland wants to go at some point.
Do some NBA Jam style, like street ball.
Oh yeah, that's old school stuff. That was fun. 2-on-2 where you can and just throw on our avatars as the head of the players. That'd be so much fun.
Come on, that'd be legit.
Right?
That would be legit.
I'm all for that. So we'll see. I know they're trying to they're hoping to add some kind of gamification to the game. So maybe something that they'll add to it after the cars. Yeah.
Now, do you still primarily treasure hunt in San Francisco, or that's just your place?
It is, yeah. Building up a web there, it took some time. I was planning to maybe, set up different webs on the West Coast, but they started just opening up so many cities. It was just, difficult for me to kind of keep up, and just to buy properties for the sake of having a treasure hunting web it didn't necessarily justify the, investing that much, rather than going into different neighborhoods and communities and participating there. That was kind of made more sense to me. So just mainly San Francisco at the moment.
So what are you doing with all of your winnings?
So yeah, I have been trying to purchase as much properties as I can in Merced Manor and some of the nodes that I'm actively in. Yeah, I'm trying to buy back some stuff and some properties. Lately I've been kind of, trying to stack as much Spark as possible, just because that seems more valuable. So sometimes there are times where, you do a treasure hunt, and if you find a limited treasure and it's not Spark, sometimes I pass on it if I know I have some time to spare to and kind of just wait for the next one to see.
That's an interesting strategy. Like, it's not even worth my time. It's not Spark. I'll wait for the next one.
I don't want to say it's not worth my time. It's just, I because how there's limited and there's exclusives. Exclusives obviously are worth more, but to me at least Spark is the more valuable thing at the moment.
Spark is by far the most valuable thing. Disney said he'd offer you some properties just to get you out of San Francisco hunting. Which I like. I think we would all pitch in a couple properties to get you to go West Coast hunting. Or
Oh
East Coast,
man,
East Coast have
you,
to get you out
you
of
actually don't even have to send me properties, because then there's people who are, they're killing it in San Francisco now. I'm not even maybe top 10, maybe barely even top 20 in treasure hunting now, in San Francisco. So I may have to, that may just force me out of San Francisco if I want to, get back to winning on a regular basis. I may have to go somewhere else, but I don't know. It's tough. There's some fast treasure hunters out there now. I'm not going to say if they're botting or not,
I was
but
going to say, hot take, are they bots? Come on.
so I'm not going to say, I'm not going to accuse of anyone of, but I've heard of different tools that are out there, extensions that allow you to you don't necessarily have to send to a property, but if you click on one of your properties, it'll show you the direction in which the hint will be. So instead of having to send to that property, they can just click on the property and it can point you to where it is. So they can kind of triangulate without having to send to where, to get the hint. So I'm not sure if that's a bot or if that's an extension that can help, but it definitely speeds up and helps you track down the treasure a lot quicker. And so, having treasures found in 30 seconds or less is definitely something that even with my experience and all my treasure and all my properties, is really tough to do, and people are doing it on a regular basis. So,
yeah, I find that definitely a little sus, and especially if you don't have, I just don't get it, because if you don't have any properties in that area, how do you have enough sends to consistently achieve that as well? You're not that lucky. It's there's definitely some really sus behavior. I think that people need to, like you said, there's probably tools, extensions, things like that. I don't think that there's a bot as much as again, hey, I just turned it on and it treasure hunts for me, versus I have tools that give me an unfair advantage in treasure hunting, because it's going to source information from a bunch of players and then give me the outcomes to be able to get it quicker.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like there's a lot of multi accounts too. So, as long as you have that tool, you can have, once you find out one of your accounts, there's a few people or a few players in San Francisco where, they only have maybe 3 or 4 properties in San Francisco, and I don't know, it's tough to believe that they are faster than I am in San Francisco. But you never know. Some people, maybe it's faster on your laptop or your computer, and you could then maybe some people have extensions where it'll automatically select claim treasure, right? Because then I still have to, after I send, I still have to click claim treasure. Maybe if you find it, it just automatically that half second can is more than enough, is just enough for you to claim it versus beat someone else. So so there's even stuff like that too that could be out there. I'm not actively looking for stuff like that. It's just I've just been told that that they reach out to me and say, hey, you're doing such a great job even competing against these people with these special tools, and I'm like, hey, I'm just playing the game and enjoying it as much as possible. So
that's definitely kind of a bummer, because I remember back in the day, dude, it would be a blast. We would all, because you'd have your explorers and it'd be the same people. You would see them in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh man, so and so's in the hunt. And you're fighting for it, and it was a really, really good time. I think that was the early days of treasure hunting were probably some of my favorite, just in the recent time. I think it was that, and then Spud Wars.
Yeah.
Spud Wars was bonkers, man.
Yeah, when you couldn't turn off your block explorers, you could kind of see everyone kind of jumping closer and closer to it. So that was fun. And then Spud Wars was just craziness, because we all kind of had to pick a neighborhood, and that just turned into, which was a lot of fun. I'm glad that there was some competitiveness and some kind of reasons to
competitiveness.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun. It was very competitive. We and it was nice, because then it forces all of it to kind of interact with each other, right? Because everyone's kind of just playing in their own game. They're just, I can buy properties, okay, sure, I can participate in a neighborhood. And we didn't even call it nodes back then. It was kind of just hey, what neighborhood did you want to buy up? I remember Choina kind of pitching Alamo Square to all of us at first, and we were just like, is that even going to be a thing? Sure, I guess we can create our own little community. And then so Spud Wars kind of influenced and kind of forced us to kind of not necessarily choose lines, but at least it push this for the competition, at least for a few rounds, to kind of have some kind of allegiance and to talk some trash and to actually throw in some build some towers and to kind of disrupt everything. So that was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed it. So
yeah,
it was some good times.
Nice. So then you pretty much exclusively buying back into San Fran. Is that what you're saying? Like most of your, is that
at the moment?
Yeah.
At the moment, yeah, I'm a little bit more committed to the West Coast than anything. So
I hear that.
It's, and because the Genesis City, it's I know that they keep releasing new cities, but we hope that if there were some kind of, just like with the shops, right? They're kind of starting off with San Francisco, so it kind of just lends itself to be beneficial to have more properties there, to take advantage of anything new that comes up and whatnot. So
no, I think it's super smart, and honestly, I think that the UPX floor is completely undervalued there. So, I've been I picked up a couple properties now. Obviously, with your treasure hunting, you're probably getting a fair amount of spark. How much spark are you up to?
I wish I had a lot, or I know of people who are over 20. I'm near 20.
That's still good.
An insane amount. Like,
yeah, it is. No, it is definitely an insane amount. But from Spark Week, it was very fortunate that I can still compete and that I can still get a decent amount of spark. But yeah, there are people who are well over 20.
But they also buy a lot. Have you?
That's true too. I didn't buy any.
You haven't bought any, and you're almost at 20.
Yeah, this is also kind of just treasure
Dizzy?
hunting. So
he's definitely gonna flog you. Get Dizzy in here for the proper floggings.
Dizzy just fell out of his chair.
Yeah, Dizzy's going and writing a very nasty email to Edon and Dirk right now.
Oh man, no. Well, like I said, there's some communities where they have leaderboards and they keep track of people and how much how much spark they can collect during a week. And there are some people who are just they're raking it in. They're just I'm sure they're well over 20, 25. I don't know.
I believe Abdullah's well over 40 now.
But he also
40?
buys a lot. He doesn't treasure hunt.
No, he just buys it.
He just buys it.
He just
buys
it.
40.
Yeah.
Hey,
I want to know your take. Have you seen this yet? So here's two profiles. They own absolutely zero properties. But if you look over on the other board, they are winning treasure hunts in San Francisco.
Yeah, interesting.
In 30 seconds.
And we were just kind of talking about that. We were like, I don't know how you can beat someone who has properties, unless you're not necessarily cheating, but unless you're getting hints from someone else's properties, maybe, and you're kind of just using that and triangulating and then just jumping to where getting the hints from other people's properties. But I don't know how you can even one, you're gonna have to collect that many cents to have, and two, within 30 seconds for me on a phone, I can maybe do 4 at my best, maybe 5 or 6 cents, maybe 5 cents, right? So if you have 0 properties, right, you have to select you're going to send a send to, right? So that's an extra click. And to do all that within 33 seconds is, 30 seconds is pretty, for me to even get within 30 seconds, you have to do it within like 3 cents to get there.
Yeah.
So, but to do it with no properties and there has to be something suspect going on. And you can kind of tell just by the name, right? Like, at least if you're going to be botting or you're going to be cheating somehow, you at least throw in some cool names, right? Like, not just SB and a random set of numbers or whatever. Like, at least be creative with it.
Stupid bot and then a number, like really creative name, guys.
Yeah, come on. It makes it pretty obvious, but that's just tough. Like Vernitar and Blind Runner and Dagseed for sure. They're all fast treasure hunters, and but to even be faster than some of the people who do it regularly, that can't be legit.
Yeah.
Did you have him? Did you? I don't know what happened. My internet. I got booted out. I rebooted and I came back. So, did you cover? Did you talk about any tips or tricks or what you do to prepare for? Okay, so your countdown's coming up. You got a exclusive treasure hunt coming. What do you do to prepare?
So I have it open, right, and then I will actually When the countdown's coming down to 5 seconds, I kind of close it and then have a property ready to go. And so I do an internal clock countdown of 5 seconds in my head. So I actually start from maybe 7 and I start counting down to make sure it's in sync. So 7, 6, 5, and then I switch from my 4 down to the property. So when it's hit 0 or as close to 0 as possible, I hit, treasure, and it should, send my, then I'll get my first hint. And of course, depending on as soon as the first hint hits, if it's slow, then obviously it's gonna be far away. And so I have my like little web in which where I regularly send things. So if I know if it's gonna be, a certain amount of distance, I don't know like the exact meters, because on my phone I kind of just have my own little way of doing things. But I do that internal clock, count it down, and then as soon as I know which direction it's going, I have a regular property. So I always start like at the middle of the map, which is not necessarily the best when it comes to Sparkly, because then there are little pockets of areas that treasures usually land on. But just to be as central as possible, I usually just start in the middle of the map. And then when I know it's, obviously north, northwest, so there's a total of like 6, 8. I have like 6 regular properties that I sent, or 8 regular properties. Well, maybe 7, right? Because I'm not going to jump to the middle. Like there's about 7 properties that I jump to regularly. That's if I know it's further out, and I always just jump to those because so every time I even just do standard treasure hunting, I practice just kind of jumping to those properties as fast as possible. And so,
you actually actively use standard to practice.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
And of course, when you find out where the property or where the treasure was at, I kind of see where I'm at and kind of just be like, okay, well, I should have jumped this much, or I should have jumped this much further, or I have another property that's kind of nearby. I should have jumped to that. And so it's nice to have regular properties that you jump to. So even if it's, at first I used to think that, oh, well, maybe I should just practice kind of just figuring out where how useful the hints are, and then kind of jumping from there. And then I just realized, let me just keep starting from the same spot, and then kind of just getting familiar with the different hints and how far I should be going from there. And so I have 7 regular spots that I go to. That's furthest away, and then of course, try and get closer to the middle as possible. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. And then once I hit to, I guess I'm giving you all my tricks, but once I get to a property, I hit I was like, I've always wondered what that pawn button was for. Well, at least on my phone, I like click it right away. So then it takes me to the property.
You to the property where your Block Explorer will be.
Right. And so it takes me to the property. So so my Explorer is still sending to the property. I can get to the property, and I can click on the property, and then once my Explorer gets there, I'll get the hint. Right. So you're not waiting for your Explorer to get there. It's you're already actively on the property, and then you get the hint as soon as possible, and then you can kind of just jump from there. And so I actually use that pawn button regularly, and then you try to just spam that claim button as soon as possible, as soon as it pops up, whenever you can get to it. So,
okay.
And just have your finger kind of hovering so that you.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a lot of skill and time invested in honing in on that craft, and I mean that. I think I appreciate that more than any botter could ever, any tools. So good on you. Oh, we got an audience question here.
Oh, nice.
Just if you want to read it.
Yeah, it seems like some hunters are hitting large payloads consistently. Is there a trick to finding the right rhythm or timing to a hunt?
So there are it's tough to kind of. There was a pattern before. Regular standard treasure hunts would be around, limited treasure hunts would be around 40 minutes, or a little bit around 30 to 40 minutes, and then the exclusives are around 2 to 3 hours. And so you can time it where if you find an exclusive, the next exclusive should be around the time your cooldown is done. Right. So then some people just wait for exclusives, right? Because then once they find an exclusive, they're on cooldown. The next exclusive should be around that time, or some people just wait for exclusives. So there's no real trick to that. But when it comes to consistently getting a higher payload, I don't think there's any tricks to it. It's just random. But there are people who do just wait for exclusive, or that now it's depending on the city, they kind of just wait for I forget what are the red ones? more exclusive treasure hunts. Yeah, so they kind of just wait for that. So you're now competing with the fastest of the best of the best who are just waiting for those huger payloads. So yeah, so there's no real trick. It's they try to keep it as random as possible when it comes to at least the payout. And so yeah.
What's your biggest payout you've ever gotten from it?
From a treasure, I think it was around 150,000 UPX. It was, but now it's been blown out of the water. I think the highest maybe is around 200 or 300.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't quote me on that, but it's crazy. And I think when I did win that 150,000 UPX, that's when I started. I think I did an event where it was called like the Bakersfield or Fresno raid hour or something like that, where I then kind of paid back to people who were treasure hunting in Fresno, who can find it under a minute. Then I would pay them out like if they had won a raid treasure hunt. And so this was even before we could even send UPX to people. So I would kind of coordinate with Discord and be like, hey, thanks for participating in this, and here's some UPX for just participating in treasure hunting. So
yeah. I will say, I feel like the OGs were a lot more generous and continue to be more generous with their UPX of giving it out, paying back the community. No offense to any of the new players. I'm sure that there's still some very generous people out there, but it seems like there's now a lot more caveats and people want things to be able to give the UPX. And it's like, man, back in the day, we literally were just like, how can we give people this freaking UPX?
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
No, we were definitely following your guys' lead. And so, any opportunity we kind of, can promote the game, promote other players to participate, especially with treasure hunting. Like, no one really wanted to treasure hunt. You can see the regular names keep popping up, and, that's fun and competitive between, that pocket of 10 to 15 people. But outside of that, people are just like, you can see in Discord, just like, oh, why am I even going to try to treasure hunt? I'm not going to compete with JunJun or whatever. Or, they're like, hey, let's wait until he's on cooldown for me to even try to participate in a treasure hunt. I'm like, come on, I want to promote as much as possible, and if I can give away some UPX, I'm winning some UPX while I'm playing the treasure hunting, so why not? If I can encourage other treasure hunters to participate, then by paying them a little bit more, then I'm all for it.
Like the DJ Short says he pictures JunJun as an 8-foot tall cape doning wizard with telekinesis powers and the treasure hunting prowess of a god.
Oh man, I am definitely not 8 foot. I wish I was even close to that. But no wizard cape. That's only for Halloween. But it's treasure hunting is fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that they're adding the cars element to it. So at least there's some kind of gamification to the game outside of treasure hunting. I wish they kind of revamped treasure. I know they're providing additional rewards to try to encourage players, but that's just I don't know if that's...
It'll have to get revamped because with cars and transportation coming out, your send speed will be walk speed. So, they'll have to redo treasure hunting some way, right? At that point.
I hope so. Hopefully it just doesn't go to the wayside and they just completely replace it with cars and just car racing. Hopefully.
Well, I think your treasure hunting with cars would be the thing. It'll just take longer. Right. It won't be you won't be able to do it in 30 seconds because you're going to have to send, and then your block explorer is going to have to drive there, get stuck in traffic. You're like, damn it, I see JunJun in his red sports car. Get the treasure.
That would that'd be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. That's when they do that, it should be hopefully it encourages other players to start playing and participating in treasure hunts. And maybe they'll put a cap on or limit the active treasure hunters where they could only walk to a treasure or something, where so at least it allows other players to kind of I have a shot now, right?
Foot race.
Foot
race treasure hunt.
Let me get to the other side of the city while I'm on foot. Let's and if I do get there before other people, then that kind of sucks, because then we want more players to be actively playing and we want them to be treasure hunting and winning those treasures. And I'm all for it. If it's leveling the playing field, then hey, I'm all for it. It's a way to earn UPX other than kind of just waiting for earnings to kind of hit your box.
So how do you like the revamped riot mode? Now it's a lot easier to hit riot mode.
Yeah, it makes sense. It kind of rewards those who are in that city, but at the same time, if there's botting and there's people with multi accounts, that kind of just people just turn on their account so they can search it, so they can inflate the numbers of who are actively treasure hunting. Um, I think it's nice. I'm interested to see how they actually came up with each of those, how they tiered things out, and if it's a moving number where after a certain amount of time, if they'll change it or not, rather than just leaving it as San Francisco is a tier 1 and kind of its layout now. So it's nice. It sucks that San Francisco only needs 15. You would think that San Francisco, the Genesis City, would have a little bit more. It would require a bit more, but I guess everyone is. That's kind of the issue, not issue, but one of the things about having more cities, right? People are just going to be dispersed and they kind of go to their own locality and they'll treasure hunt there. So
yeah, they're all over Chicago. How many standard treasure hunts do you do a day, you think?
Oh, I used to do a lot before, but now I know too stupid I told you this, but I now have a son, so I'm like rarely even playing. And so it kind of worked out during that Spark Week. I remember you guys talked about how I won like 22 treasures in one Spark Week. That was like that month, or that Spark Week was like literally like the second week of my son being born. And so I was like up almost every 3 hours. So I was like, well, I might as well just do a treasure hunt. Well, they say you sleep when he sleeps. So I'm like, okay, I just fed him. Now my cool downs.
There
done.
we go.
So it kind of worked
that
out.
does solve the mystery, because everyone goes, "How is he's up all the time?" Well, there you go, folks. Have a baby, and your treasure hunting skills will go out the roof.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely have lots of time to practice when he's out. So I was very fortunate, but now not so much. I don't do that many standard treasure hunts. Maybe 3 or 5, just to stay active and try to because practice makes perfect, and not necessarily perfect, but you get as close as possible, close to a property as possible, based off of those very limited hints that they give you. Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good tip, is understanding, like, having a single starting place and then practicing, kind of having your standard web and understanding like the distance and the hint mechanics related to your specific web. I think like that is an absolute pro tip. I never really thought about it in that lens before. I think when I treasure hunt, I kind of did that, but I wasn't as specific. So I would just like go to an area, and then you're right, it's hard to kind of judge accurately sometimes the distance of places. But if you're always kind of going to the same areas, you start to kind of develop muscle memory around that. That's a really good tip. And it's, again, I don't think it's like a freebie tip either, in the sense of like, you got to go do it in practice, right? Like,
oh yeah,
you're not just going to like the first time you go and be like, oh, JunJun gave us this great tip, I'm going to crush treasure hunting now. Like, no, you're going to have to put in some legwork to get anywhere close to those competitive areas. So
absolutely. Are you looking forward to any West Coast city release that you're saving up for or excited about?
If they ever open up something, well, I currently reside in Seattle, and so if they ever opened up Seattle, that'd be awesome. I grew up in San Diego, so if they ever did that, that would be awesome as well. So those are the two I'm looking out for. If they ever do, I would love to be and go heavy in either of those two cities. Las Vegas should be fun though. If that's something that they're gonna do. Yeah. But those are the top 3.
Are you gonna be there?
I unfortunately I'm not. I know. I wish I could, but no. That's now that I have my son now, it's kind of tough to travel. I'm kind of stuck. Even though he does.
I got 4 kids and I'm trying to make it out.
Yeah, they do fly free until 2, right? 2 so,
yeah.
I might as well take advantage of that. But
there you go.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe not to the Vegas.
I would totally babysit baby JunJun. You bring baby JunJun out.
Done.
I'll babysit him.
This is recorded, so I remember that.
Oh, hey man, I love kids. I ain't even fussed.
No, okay, well, I didn't mention that he was colicky, but hey, you see, if you offered to take him on before even knowing that, more power to you. I'll be like, hey, can you hold him even for longer? I'd love to just relax and get some sleep. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome, and congratulations there on the son that they're so much fun.
They are. He's at a phase where he's just like, man, all you do is cry and poop and sleep, but man, it's just like, this is your legacy right here. So
I mean, I'm at that stage. I'm in my late 30s, and I'm back to that stage. So it comes around quick.
Hey, if it's easy to just swaddle you and give you a bottle, then hey, I'm all for having.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It adds so much purpose to your life, and so it'd be exciting to see how if Upland can last long enough where he can start enjoying it himself too.
JunJun Jr. I like that. I like that.
There you go.
If he ever gets it, you get JunJun Jr. I like that a lot.
So we were discussing before you jumped on, your take on Upland not having UPX on the exchange, and now you have Decentraland and Sandbox. Their tokens have crashed and devalued. What's your overall take on that?
Yeah, I'm an old school gamer, so it's nice. So I understand the ability or the benefits to having an in-game currency that can't be manipulated right on the outside. So so there is some value to that. Obviously, if it were outside on exchanges, then it'll draw in more attention just from an investment purpose. But to keep it separate, I think is smart. Maybe I don't know. I think it does make it centralized, right? Because then now it's the Upland company has the ultimate power on how to, but they keep it pegged to the dollar, so at least it's not like it's a moving number. But for the most part, it serves its purpose. Hopefully they'll add some kind of additional uses for UPX other than just buying block explorers and buying properties. But maybe when they start expanding that, then maybe it's worth it to go on exchange. But at the moment, because it's so volatile, it kind of has its perks, and it serves its purpose. So especially with what's going on right now, like I don't want people to be discouraged to play the game because it's not a good investment or because the value of the UPX is so low, right? People can kind of just look at the price range and they're like, oh, it's under a penny, it must suck, right? Or there's no point in me investing in the game, right? Because then I'll be earning 5 cents a day. People will just kind of look at the numbers and not even give the game a shot. So at least people can look at the game and be like, okay, there's no way where a huge whale can just manipulate the price of UPX. You can kind of go in, how much UPX is going to be worth. You can buy properties, you can participate in treasure hunting, you can buy block explorers, you can have you participate in a fun Discord community, lots of different nodes that are going up right now. So and they don't have to worry about, oh crap, my $1,000 investment or whatever they put into it has gone to nothing because it's just a volatile and bad down market.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. You got any other questions for JunJun? Thank me later.
You mentioned nodes a couple times. What's your top node? What node are you the most bullish on?
Outside of Merced Manor, I don't know. I would love to be able to put something up in LA, but that's I did live in LA for a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have any particular. I wish I was active more so in other nodes and communities. Do you guys have any suggestions? Is there anyone that's kind of open to?
Well, now that you mention it, it's not really necessarily a node per se, but if you haven't seen the Encino Eye, you got to go check it out.
Ooh, the Encino Eye. That just sounds cool.
Yeah.
The Encino Eye. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Can I share PowerPoint?
Yep. You can share.
All right. Let me see here if I can.
And while you're doing that, yes, BitSource, I am Filipino. Let's see. Dizzy, definitely. We are bottle feeding him, so he is, so I get to be actively participating in the feeding process. So definitely non-dairy. And JunJun's actually short. June is my nickname, and it's short for junior because I'm a junior. So it'd be funny to have him JunJun Junior. So it'd be junior. Junior.
Yeah. So this is.
Here we go.
The Encino Eye. Upland Property Xperts, working with NFT meta design, so NFT Me, and built by UCC. So this is this is the project, and it is cool. So we've built this eye in Encino, and
That's
so
cool.
it's actively being built right now. Yeah, we're in phase 3, the build. And so, yeah, we got a lot of excitement. There's people buying up around the properties around it. Encino's not sold out. I think it's like a 10,000 UPX floor there. Pretty cool. I'm very excited about it. I think like this is the start of, this is the evolution. I think that, we needed something to kind of take it to another level, we builds and stuff like that. So we're going to be starting to do some like almost like Easter eggs. So like as people are just like flying around and they're like, wait, what the heck is that? Like I want it to be, no pun intended, eye catching. And so a lot of great participants in that. So yeah, just something to keep an eye out if you're looking for extending your portfolio. Encino, LA might be a place to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. And that was one of the things that kind of kept me actively involved with Upland, was that the communities and the groups that people were starting up were just so fun. Like they would come up with they're so creative. Dog Patch and other places were just like, wow, this was like a cool place to or just a community to participate in. And that's one of the powers of Upland was that it's, you can build those and develop those communities. And so I'm glad that, Encino seems like it's up and coming, and I'll definitely purchase some properties around there. So thanks for the recommendation. Looks like fun.
And TM has a node in Toluca Lake. That's a nice little area there in LA too.
Yeah, we are not shilling his garbage. Get out of here.
I do own 4 properties.
Toluca Lake's actually a lovely area. So
I do have 4 properties there. So
there it is.
And I got a bunch in Silver Lake too. I got a bunch in Silver Lake too.
I actually lived in Silver Lake, so I should be, but yeah, no, it's fun to just know about these different communities that are. Do you guys think that they'll eventually build out Upland Cafe or those different little opportunities where you can kind of interact with people within Upland and not just using a third party like Discord? Do you think they'll actually fulfill that promise?
I honestly thought there was a time where I really thought they were gonna integrate Discord into the game.
Yeah,
I think like that is the play. Really is leveraging the Discord APIs and Discord chat features into the game somehow. I think like that's pretty smart. But I mean, they've talked about cafes. It's so going to be limited because like if you have to send your Explorer there, like it's cool in concept, but it's not going to achieve the outcome of like the chat functionality that people want. But the problem is that chat is inherently trolls. Like as soon as you open, I don't want global chat. I'll turn it off. I don't want people pinging me in game because it's going to be 90% trolls, 90% spam. Like, nope. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Discord. Like, I'm already getting spam offers all day long on properties anyway. Like, why do I need spam chat? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess like, again, you could do a friend feature where you can only message friends. And then you have the option of like accepting, like you have to like go through, accept it, and then I can go, who are you? That could work, but again, I just don't see. There's not really. I mean, I don't think Upland's hurting for it. Like they have, they have their Facebook groups, they have all of this stuff. So
yeah, it makes sense to kind of outsource it out to dedicated companies or dedicated apps that can handle all that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
All right. You have any questions for us there, JunJun? I know we've asked a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. So when are we going to have Spud Wars 2? Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. We've talked about that a couple of times. That would be so fun. And let's just use trailers this time and cell towers. Stop being so sensitive.
I know. I agree. That was actually I wish I had my role in Spud Wars, but I wish I had, at some point I was like, okay, maybe someday I could be the villain and I could, trying to start shilling things and doing all that stuff. That seemed like a fun aspect that I missed out on because, I was the let's go Merced Banner. And,
White Knight. You're a White Knight. Yeah.
And that was fun too. You know, it was being able to interact with those players and still being able to interact with them now because of that event was definitely worth it all.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking, you know what? Because so Spud Wars for properties, I think that they could do like a decor war. So like Spud Wars, but then like maybe just decoration. So you're like building lawn gnomes and stuff. Like,
yeah, that'd be fun. Or even just like just even different colors, right? So let's say whoever could have like a color decoration. So it's not like it has some, you have to wait for a fun design. It's just kind of like, hey, if I want to, like, say it's Alamo Square and Merced Manor, you each have a designated color, and you kind of just try to either try to color your neighborhood as much as possible, or kind of blend a color in another neighborhood so it's not as pure. So say,
I
like
so
that.
So it's easier, right? You don't have to worry about, oh, well, let me go design trailers or or actual cell towers. It's just like, hey,
color wars.
Yeah,
That's genius. So each of the major neighborhoods, they go in and they get like their designated color, and then it's like if you paint every building in your neighborhood that you paint the color of your neighborhood, it gets points, and then if it's a rival, it loses points. Oh, there you go.
I like it.
Upland team, color wars. Let's make that happen.
Yeah, yes. You don't have to worry about Spud. You don't have to worry about all these different, people getting offended as to, having a trailer is, offensive to people.
I might call it paint wars because some people might be upset with color wars.
Oh, right. That's true. That's true. Paint wars sounds like fun.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Paint wars. We'll call it paint wars. And then again, so you like earn paint. You have to like go collect paint cans to paint, right? So you're doing like treasure hunts and stuff like that to earn paint to then go paint houses or whatever, like, however, kind of like sends. Ooh, it could even be like sends. You have little paint cans around and you got to go like collect paint cans. Oh,
there
man.
You go. Dude, we're on to something.
There's something there. Come on, Upland team.
Come on. There's just different colors. You don't have to worry about, designing different avatars or whatever. It's just different colors. That's all. Roy G. Biv right there. Yeah, come on. Exactly. Come on. Roy G. Biv. There you go. We got a primary color set, and we can go crazy by having some blended colors, but that's an easy start and easy opportunity to kind of have people compete against each other again. Because that was I felt like you could see a bunch of people who are active that they start rallying around the neighborhood, rallying around their team, and it was just a lot of fun. It gave additional purpose to participating and having these neighborhoods. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I like it.
Totally pitch it.
Oh no, we're making.
I think we just did. They watch this every Monday, so that's people's jobs at Upland to watch all the content created every Monday. So we pitched it already.
All right.
No, I'm gonna like be putting it hard in Vegas. Believe. I'm gonna be like, guys, paint wars. I'm gonna go sit down with the dev team. Like, I'm gonna write your user stories. Here's your acceptance criteria. Like, make this happen. I want this within 4 sprints. Let's go.
Do it. Done.
I like it. JunJun, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you having on, and congratulations on the sun. Thank you for sharing some of your tips. So that will help some players get better, and it's just time and practice too. So.
Yeah. Great advice, man. Great.
It is, and you guys are doing an awesome job. It's just like I said. We've been here from the start. It was, I remember when you guys had your first episode. So I'm glad to see that it's gone, beyond Genesis Week, and now we're having another Genesis Week coming up. So to see that you guys are still going strong, that's awesome. You need dedicated members like you guys to keep this going. So, so thank you so much for all that you guys do as well.
Yeah. Thanks, JunJun.
Thanks, JunJun. Have a good night, and hopefully you get some sleep tonight.
Yeah, you guys took up my free time. I usually cover the overnight shifts, so I'm usually going to sleep now. But it was definitely well worth it. So it was a pleasure, and I'll continue to listen and keep track of what you guys have been doing. And I'm looking forward to Paint Wars whenever they decide to have that.
Yes, indeed.
And hopefully we get a meetup one day.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to, Las Vegas, it would have been awesome to be a part of, but I'm looking forward to, the next one or whenever they have the chance, and it'd be fun for all of us to get together and, just talk it up and just revel in how much we enjoyed Upland even from the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Have a great night, and we'll let you get a little bit of shut eye.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. Have a
All
good
right,
one.
Cheers,
thank you,
brother.
sir. All right. Biggest, do we want to do the big announcement now, or do we want to do, will you accept that deal?
I mean, we could do the announcement now.
All right. So, I mean, it's out there, so it's not like it's a huge announcement.
I mean, it's a huge announcement. Like,
Right.
let's be real. It's a huge announcement,
Yes.
but it's not like necessarily hugely exclusive because it's already been generally announced. But it's a huge announcement in general.
Yes, absolutely. So they are having an award ceremony at Genesis Week, and they're going to name the Upland Player of the Year and the Designer of the Year, and most importantly for us, the Broadcaster of the Year. So we've been nominated for the Broadcaster of the Year, which is creating entertaining and informative Upland content to spread knowledge about the game and bring smiles to the Upland community. And we have some strong competition there with Loyal Doyle and the Uplando show. So
Yes,
it's
indeed.
yeah. So congratulations to Loyal Doyle and Uplando for being nominated for Broadcaster of the Year, and and so
I
we'll
mean,
see
it's
how-
okay. I'm sure that they'll have a chance to win in the future. It's okay. Like, But yes. Oh, here, real quick, because here's these block explorers.
Oh yeah, look
So
at that early
dope.
bird.
Oh, I'm so excited getting an early bird one.
So there's going to be 50 of them. What's the value on it? It's a Genesis 2022 early bird block explorer. There's only 50. What are you putting value wise on that, since you got the market on lock on prices?
Probably between 200 and 250,000.
Okay.
I think like that's probably reasonable. 50 mint. It's low, but not like sub 25. Oh, rejects. There you go. Some love for JunJun. And then the GA Blog Explorer is going to be hard. Just depends on how many. Too stupid to think. It's going to be hard to say until we have an amount. I think one of the next roundtables we're going to host, I want to do a block explorer evaluation. We'll bring up different block explorers and then get people. And again, our roundtables usually consist of veterans to new players, and just get their insights on like, what do you think the UPX value of this block explorer is and why. I'd be curious to get some real life examples there. But yeah, I think at 50 with the Genesis block explorer, I think and honestly, like a normal 50 would be probably 100 to 150,000. But since it's the Genesis week kind of collection, those tend to be held more. So even though there's 50, there's going to be very few for sale. That's going to be the thing. So it's going to be supply and demand. There's going to be a lot of people who want it because A, it looks freaking awesome, and B, it's from a live event. So there's a certain amount of kind of added coolness into you have to be there to acquire it. And I just don't think that there'll be a lot of people that will give up theirs. Like, so for me, like I'll never sell my early bird block explorer. Like that just will never happen. It will be a permanent part of my collection.
I'll give you a Miles B chain for it.
No, but I have been seeing, so the Miles, if you got Miles B chain or the boom box, those have been going back and forth. I think, trading them interchangeably, which is kind of cool. We were seeing a lot of people who prefer one versus another. And then I think just to give a block explorer, because that is one of the hot ones out right now. They're trading for about, it says the guy says, I'll never sell my curator collection. All right, you got me there. Fine. If somebody wants to offer me $25,000 for my limited edition block explorer, sold. So on the boombox and the Miles one, they seem to be trading right around the 80 to 100,000 UPX. I try to buy them at 75,000. And I trade, if I get a boombox, I try to trade it for a blockchain, for a Miles B chain. But I haven't been doing a lot of Block Explorer trading because I've been focused on the Encino I. So all my kind of resources and attention have been there. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, this is super cool. So also players of the year, Masita, Mossy Jake, Radish Head, very cool. And then designer of the year, which I
really like that,
which is cool. Land for Land crushed
the holiday ornaments.
The holiday ornaments. I think he got every category. C Mavs, Master Builder, and Retry 88 I feel like he's always in there. Every time I see him on stuff, I think he might even be in the new light up thing, which is super cool. So, yeah. So, very excited, very honored. Thank you to the Upland team for nominating and I guess putting us in for nomination on this. It's very cool, an honor to be a part of that.
Absolutely, super honored for that, and it'll be awesome.
It's okay. You won't be there to accept. I'll accept on both of our behalf. Don't worry. I'll be sure to mention you in the acceptance speech.
God. If I could only move a wedding. Jeez.
You know what? Maybe I'll just get you. You know what? You can just like pre-record onto a little like camcorder, and then I'll just play it into the mic for you.
I mean, the awards party is at 7 p.m. Pacific time, so that's like 10 o'clock my time. So I can just hang out, on your tablet. You can just hold me next to you.
Oh, that's true. Oh, I could get one of those little robots and just put like the iPad. Just like,
there you go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll make something happen.
You're in Vegas. Let's get Upland and rent me a robot, and you can just put me on your iPad and wheel me around.
Yes. No, I'm gonna get. We'll just get. I'm sure there's entertainment for hire, and then I'll just get a mask. I'll get a Too Stupid to Win mask, and make her wear that mask, and then just follow me around and be like, "Oh, have you met Too Stupid to Win?" Like, no, and you know what? It's not even gonna be your face. It's gonna be your Block Explorer. So there's just gonna be,
right.
This well-dressed lady with just a flaming vomiting poo face mask, just following me around Vegas. I'll be like, oh, this is Too Stupid to Win. Oh man,
that would be classic.
That would be amazing.
All right.
So what else? We got Deal or No Deal.
Yeah. So what you got there is 7 small townhouses in San Francisco on 47th Avenue.
Okay.
So it's all 7 of those for an ultra rare Fordham Road collection in the Bronx. Now, for this ultra rare, this is one of the ultra rare collections that you need 4 properties to complete the ultra rare collection.
Okay.
And that's the deal. You have 7 Outer Sunset properties that already has their houses built on it, and you have an ultra rare in the Bronx.
So those are small townhouses. Okay, and they're in San Fran.
Yep, Outer Sunset.
So we're talking, let's say conservatively 35,000 on the property, another 35,000 on the house, call them 70,000 relative value times 7. Looking at 400 and back of the envelope, I'm getting about a 490,000 UPX value for that set. What is what's the floor on the forehead? What's it? Fordham. The forehead.
Fordham.
Fordham. What's the floor on Fordham?
The floor on Fordham is for UPX half 512,400 UPX.
And what's for the 512 property? How much up square is that?
39.
So the tiny one. Oof. And I'm
So
assuming
this
that's
is
yeah.
so this
Go ahead.
148. The lowest one comparable to a 148 is there's a that's for US dollars. Sorry. You got a 167 for 912,000 UPX.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that's a tough one.
But you have 177 up square for $691, or basically 692 US dollars.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is here as well, like that's what a 33,000, like a 35,000 UpX base value property. Like, geez, what do you live on the tracks now? Can you move your trailer a little bit further away?
Hey, don't knock my trailer.
Jeez, old Pete's. By my calculations, that Fordham Road minted at like less than 35,000. Is that correct?
31,820.
Oh, like, see, this is the problem with people in their ultra rares. Like, they want to be green. That's a 20x. If you get anywhere close to 600,000 UpX for it, you're sitting at 20x. Nope. Like, that kind of greed annoys me, because even this trade then would conservatively valuing that set, and again, that's like floor price on both the properties, and it's a little bit generous on the townhouses, honestly, because I think townhouse property values are at like 30,000 right now. But so we're saying 500,000, and then into a 31,000 base property. That's a 16x return. Like, I think it's a fair deal. I think honestly, it's like a better deal for like the Fordham person. I think is getting a better deal. I think the 7 properties with the 7 houses is a better deal. I'd rather have that than the Fordham. And I'm assuming that the hotel isn't actually built. The apartment isn't built. Like they would just
No, it's still in progress. Yeah. So
the assumption would be like that would not be part of it. So there is some probably loss. It looks like about 7 to 10% based on that bar. So there's a little bit of lost value there, but again, if
the apartment wasn't on there during the trade. That wasn't there when the trade started.
Gotcha. So wait, so did it go through? What happened?
So the individual,
you'd rather have the Fordham. Get out of here.
The individual took the 7 completed buildings for the Fordham.
The individual.
So they accepted.
All right. So wait. So they accepted. So wait. Where was it? Their Fordham or their 7 properties?
They had the Fordham and they got the 7 properties.
I think they got a great deal.
Yeah. So do I.
Dizzy says no. Dizzy, you're insane. You have to get 4 of these stupid things. It's a 31,000 UpX base property. Give me a break. You just got 16x return. Even at the ultra rare value, like that's insane. No, that's a great deal. You did good. That is a great deal.
And you're going to be able to sell these 7. You can sell all 7 if you choose, or you can sell 4 of them and keep 3, and you're still going to get more than what it would take for somebody to actually come along and buy your Fordham at a decent price.
You do not have 5,000 San Francisco properties, Dizzy. Do you?
I believe he does. Remember, he bought Envenom out, and he bought out King Kurd, and he bought out that other guy, and he bought out that one lady, and then he bought out that turtle, and then he bought out.
Get out of here, Dizzy. 5,000, you monster. Oz says easier to liquidate Fordham. I think you're crazy. Who the heck's putting? If you put these 7 properties up for 70,000 each, and you put up that property for 490,000, I feel like you'd sell the 7 before you'd sell the 1.
Yeah, he's got 4,622 per UPX land. Up, Dizzy says 4,624.
Yeah, so you don't have 5,000. Get out of here. Jeez, old Pete.
Ridiculous.
Dang. Dizzy, you're out of control, mate. Yeah, no, I think it's a good deal. Honestly, like, I like that deal a lot. Like, I like the out of the box thinking of like, hey, let me, and see, the interesting thing is, so again, the person who got the Fordham property, like, they strategically, so they got a line of properties in San Francisco. Again, you can buy them at floor. They invested in either their own Spark or Spark rental, and they created value. And then they were able to trade that for an ultra rare. Now, like, again, like, I go, as the ultra rare holder, I got a good deal because, you know, I get 16x my value. And the person who got the Fordham probably like, holy cow, I just got rid of, you know, I bought these properties at whatever price. I built a little bit, and I was able to upgrade them to an ultra rare. So I like this trade because I feel like both players probably felt like they were getting a good value, which they were. And one player kind of worked to create that value, and another player probably stumbled upon that ultra rare. I don't know if it was like a giveaway or if it was just as part of a reveal. But dang, TM's up to, you guys are nuts. I need to be buying more. What am I at? Because I think, what's my San Francisco count at?
You don't know?
No, I have no idea.
Let's see here. Pulling you up. You have 22,503.
Oh man, 22. Wait,
2,503.
2,200.
2,500.
2,500. All right. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
2,503. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Now,
Dang.
we do have to set a date for the next roundtable. I do have some names that are already interested. I said we're going to collect all the names and let people know.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have to set a date. I was thinking maybe a Tuesday night so we don't interfere with this.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. So if you're interested in joining the roundtable, reach out to either myself or Too Stupid to Win. However, you know how to get a hold of us. And yeah, we'll put your name in. Try to get 8 to 10 people of varying degrees of
Experience.
length in the game, number, value into the game, experience, etc.
Yeah. And then also make sure you're sending us these trade offers so we can break them down for you and let you know what we think about it. Now, the interesting fact is the person did not. They ended up trading. Here's the better part. They did not mint that Fordham ultra rare.
Okay.
They ended up trading a Justin Houston Memento game ball 1 of 1 for that Fordham property.
Wow, interesting. I don't know what any of those words meant.
So it was a defensive end for the Indianapolis Colts.
Are you trying to help me understand or just confuse me more?
Okay. So the person started out with this, and he traded that for the Fordham property. And then he traded the Fordham property for the 7 properties.
Very hard
with
to
houses
see.
On them.
So what you're telling me is this trade genius traded a football for 7 properties with houses in San Francisco. That's the Upland dream, in my opinion. Like, well done. Tip of the cap to you. You are a good trader.
So he started out with a legit. He turned a legit into an ultra rare, and then he turned an ultra rare into 7 built properties.
Dang. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes. So, yes, please send us in your trade offers so we can break them down for you. If you have any questions, definitely let us know if you want to be a part of the next roundtable. Are we trying to do that at the end of the month or the beginning of next month? We'll talk about that.
Yeah, you're the one with a small clan of children that I have to work around.
Yeah.
I mean, my dog, as long as I give him a Treato before the podcast, he's out. He don't care. He's good.
Nice. Yeah, so we do thank JunJun for coming on. Really appreciate that. That was a long time coming, and hopefully that helps a lot of you on treasure hunting. And we always bring on these OGs and top players in the game. And Busta Worth, if you're still listening, DM me. We need to get you on the program. I know you listen. You sent me some messages, so send me a message so we can get you on the program. Be great to have Busta on the podcast. Also, make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel. Leave some comments of things that you want us to talk about, and follow us on Twitter at the UPX Podcast. Until next week, everybody be safe, have fun, and hopefully I make it to Vegas sometime soon.
It's the UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, ThankMeLater, and you're stupid to win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way in the door, hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping. Over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin in UPX.